Welcome on GAMME TV. Please be sure to subscribe, like, share, and comment to get more videos like this. Today we're going to know the history of conflict in India and Pakistan. So be sure to keep watching to know the reason behind the conflict between India and Pakistan. India, officially the Republic of India, is a country in South Asia. It is the seventh largest country by area, the second most populous country, and the most populous democracy in the world. Bounded by the Indian Ocean in the south, the Arabian Sea in the southwest, and the Bay of Bengal in the southeast, it shares land border with Pakistan to the west, China, Nepal, and Bhutan to the north, and Bangladesh and Myanmar to the east. In the Indian Ocean, India is the vicinity of Sri Lanka and the Maldives. Its Andaman and Nicobar Islands share a maritime border with Thailand, Myanmar, and Indonesia. The nation's capital city is New Delhi. Pakistan, officially the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, is a country in South Asia. It is the world's fifth most populous country with a population of almost 243 million people and has the world's second largest Muslim population just behind Indonesia. Pakistan is the 33rd largest country in the world by area and second largest in South Asia, spanning 881,913 square kilometers. It has 650-mile coastline along the Arabian Sea and Gulf of Oman in the south, and is bordered by India to the east, Afghanistan to the west, Iran to the southwest, and China to the northeast. It is separated narrowly from Tajikistan by Afghanistan's Wakhan corridor in the north, and also shares maritime border with Oman. Islamabad is the nation's capital, while Karachi is its largest city and financial center. The Kashmir conflict is a territorial conflict over the Kashmir region, primarily between India and Pakistan, with China playing a third-party role. The conflict started after the partition of India in 1947, as both India and Pakistan claimed the entirety of the former princely state of Jammu and Kashmir. It is a dispute over the region and escalated into three wars between India and Pakistan and several other armed skirmishes. India controls approximately 55% of the land area of the region that include Jammu Kashmir Valley, most of Ladakh, the Siachen Glacier, and 70% of its population. Pakistan controls approximately 30% of its land area that includes Azad Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan. And China controls the remaining 15% of the land area that includes Aksai-Chin region and mostly uninhabited Trans-Karakoram Tract and part of the Demchok sector. Kashmir is an ethnically diverse Himalayan region covering around 86,000 square miles and famed for the beauty of its lakes, meadows, and snow-capped mountains. Even before India and Pakistan won their independence from Britain in August 1947, the area was hotly contested. Under the partition plan provided by the Indian Independence Act, Kashmir was free to accede to either India or Pakistan. The Maharaj local ruler Har Singh initially wanted Kashmir to become independent, but in October 1947 chose to join India in return of its help against an invasion of tribesmen from Pakistan. A war erupted and India approached the United Nations asking it to intervene. The United Nations recommended holding a plebiscite to settle the question of whether the state would join India or Pakistan. However, the two countries could not agree to demilitarize the region before the referendum could be held. The history between India and Pakistan, both nuclear powers, is inextricably linked. The countries have fought a series of wars since gaining their independence from Great Britain in 1947, largely over the Kashmir region, to which both countries lay claim. India became a nuclear power in 1973 and Pakistan became a nuclear power in 1998. Here is a brief history of the conflict between the two countries. August 1947. Following the end of British rule, British India was partitioned into India and Pakistan. The provincial division was based on Hindu and Muslim majorities, which caused mass migration for those that did not live in the majorities. Hundreds of thousands of people were killed in communal violence, resulting in an atmosphere of hostility that has remained for decades. The Jammu and Kashmir regions have been disputed since partition, with Pakistan and India both claiming ownership. October 1947 up to January 1949. The First Indo-Pakistan War began following an invasion of Kashmir by armed tribesmen from Pakistan. Kashmir turned to India for military assistance and, in return, agreed to hand over power of defense, communication, and foreign affairs, acceding to India. A ceasefire was arranged on January 1, 1949, and the ceasefire line was established, now called the Line of Control. August 1965. The Second Indo-Pakistan War was sparked by a series of clashes across the India-Pakistan border. Hostilities broke out in August when Pakistan soldiers crossed the line of control into India, administered Kashmir in an attempt to start an insurgency against India. The war ended in January 1966 when officials from India and Pakistan signed a declaration affirming their commitment to peace. December 1971. When India and Pakistan became their own countries, Pakistan was split into two parts, East Pakistan and West Pakistan. The Third Indo-Pakistan War took place when Pakistan erupted into civil war, pitting West Pakistan against East Pakistan, who demanded independence. Millions of East Pakistanis fled to India, and quickly the West Pakistani army surrendered. East Pakistan earned independence on December 6, 1971, and changed its name to Bangladesh. May 1947. India successfully tested its first nuclear weapon, code-named Operation Smiling Buddha. It took place on the army base Pokhran Test Range close to its border with Pakistan. July 1989. Armed resistance against Indian rule began in Kashmir when the Muslim parties complained that the 1987 elections were rigged against them. Some citizens demanded independence, while others wanted a union with Pakistan. Pakistan supported the movement, calling for the issue to be resolved by the United Nations. India called for Pakistan to end cross-border terrorism. Since 1989, several new radical Islamist groups have emerged, shifting the movement from a nationalistic and secularist one to an Islamic one. The insurgency has continued until present day. May 1998. India and Pakistan both conducted nuclear tests. India's underground nuclear test was conducted near its border with Pakistan. In response, Pakistan conducted 6 tests. The international community condemned India and Pakistan for the testing and urged the two nations to stop their nuclear weapons programs. May 1998. India adopted a no first use policy, meaning the state would not use nuclear weapons unless it was attacked with a nuclear weapon first. Despite questions around the policy, India remains faithful to the no first use doctrine. May 1999. After nearly 30 years, India launched airstrikes against Pakistan-backed forces that had entered Indian-administered Kashmir. As fighting increased towards a direct conflict between the two nuclear states, Pakistan's troops were put on high alert. At least 38,000 people fled to their homes on the Pakistan side of the line of control. December 2001. 5 armed terrorists entered the Indian parliament building and opened fire, killing 9 people. India blamed Pakistan-backed Kashmir militants for the attack, which led to the massive buildup of troops along with Indo-Pakistani border. February 2007. Blasts in 2 coaches of Samjhota Express killed 68 people, most of them Pakistani nationals. The train was created in 1994 as a goodwill measure to help families who were separated during the 1947 India-Pakistan partition. This came at a time when relations were improving between India and Pakistan. November 2008. 10 Pakistani men associated with the terror group Lashkar-e-Taiba stormed various buildings in Mumbai and killed 164 people. Using automatic weapons and grenades, only one of the 10 gunmen survived and was executed in 2012. February 2019. Pakistani-based terrorist group Jaish-e-Mohammed carried out a suicide car bomb attack in Indian-controlled Kashmir, which resulted in in the deaths of over 40 members of India's paramilitary forces. India retaliated with airstrikes across the line of control, and Pakistan shot down an Indian aircraft and captured a pilot. These actions significantly increased tensions between the two nuclear states, but 2 days later, the Indian pilot was released and tensions relaxed. August 2019. In a controversial and unexpected move, the Indian government revoked Article 370, which grants Indian-administered Kashmir autonomy. Article 370 gave Kashmir the rights to its own constitution, a separate flag, and freedom to make laws regarding residency, property ownership, and fundamental rights. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi argued that the article needed to be scrapped in order to put Kashmir on the same footing as the rest of India. Pakistan stayed relatively silent following this decision, but did highlight the violence Kashmiris have experienced since August. According to scholars, Indian forces have committed many human rights abuses and acts of terror against the Kashmir civilian population, including extrajudicial killing, rape, torture, and enforced disappearances. According to Amnesty International, no member of the Indian military deployed in Jammu and Kashmir has been tried for human rights violation in a civilian court as of June 2015, although military courts martial have been held. Amnesty International has also accused the Indian government of refusing to prosecute perpetrators of abuses in the region. Moreover, there have been instances of human rights abuses in Azad Kashmir, including but not limited to political repressions and forced disappearances. Brad Adams, the Asia director at Human Rights Watch, said in 2006, although Azad means free, the residents of Azad Kashmir are anything but free. The Pakistani authorities govern Azad Kashmir with strict controls on basic freedoms. The OHCHR reports on Kashmir released 2 reports on the situation of human rights in Indian-administered Kashmir and Pakistan-administered Kashmir. The distilled truth of India and Pakistani's current relationship is that they do not talk to each other, not formally at least. Unlike with China, India has no economic stakes with Pakistan. However, even without an active dialogue process, some shifts can be perceived in Indians' priorities. Across the past 2 decades, the approach to dialogue has usually been dualistic, either focused on fixing the larger bilateral relationship to generate enough goodwill to discuss Kashmir distinctly, or let the latter lead the greater those in the eyes of the large relationship. In October 2021, the Indian Home Minister announced in Jammu and Kashmir that there would be no talks with Pakistan, reiterating it in 2020 while addressing a sizable rally in Baramulla. He asserted that the government would rather be talking to the Gujars, Bakarwals, Paharis, and the youth of Kashmir. It is to be seen if Pakistan adopts a combative stand or echoes the likes of Ghulam Nabi Azad and indirectly steps away from demanding the restoration of Jammu and Kashmir's special status. The Indian position vis-a-vis Pakistan, however, is now clear. Kashmir is not important and no distinct mover. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed and gained more information about the conflict between India and Pakistan. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment.